On social media, most women might tell you they want a nice guy, but when it comes to real attraction, that bad boy in your circle gets the most women. Although he never texts back, he talks dirty but never apologizes for it, and somehow, he's the only one most women truly remember. This isn't just some random coincidence. Rather, this is dark charisma that gives her excitement, and that is the hidden code in human attraction, and it's wired into how we're built. In this video, I'm going to break down 3 reasons women are addicted to dark charisma. You'll learn the 3 dark traits of charisma and how to use them in a way that's powerful, not toxic. By the end, you'll see why the good guys are stuck watching from the sidelines, and how you can step up, stand out, and command real respect and attraction. There's something almost hypnotic about the bad boy energy, something primal that speaks directly to a part of the brain most people don't talk about openly. It's not just about being rebellious or reckless. It's that dangerous edge wrapped in mystery, that unpredictable vibe that screams, "I'm not like the rest." Women aren't just casually interested in this. There's an ancient wiring at play here, a biological pulse that makes mysterious men irresistible because they embody the unknown, the forbidden, the unpredictable. Think about it. In our evolutionary past, stepping into the unknown was the ultimate risk, but it also promised the biggest rewards. That tension between danger and desire is where dark charisma lives. It's the kind of energy that sets off a cocktail of chemicals in the brain. Dopamine, adrenaline, all the neurochemicals that create that rush, that addictive emotional high. The dark, charismatic man doesn't lay all his cards on the table. He's an enigma. He's the man who says less, does more, and lets the silence do half the work. This withholding of certainty sparks curiosity. It makes her mind race, trying to piece together the puzzle that he is. It's the chase, the thrill of not knowing what's coming next, that lights up her nervous system like fireworks. She's hooked on the unpredictability. Unlike the predictable nice guy, the dark, charismatic man's behavior isn't a script she's read before. That unpredictability triggers what psychologists call reward uncertainty, which is the exact same mechanism that makes gambling addictive. The brain gets pulled in deeper because the reward, the affection, the attention, is intermittent and unpredictable, and that uncertainty makes every little positive signal feel amplified, like a dopamine jackpot. In other words, the darker, the more mysterious the energy, the stronger the pull. This isn't just a surface-level attraction. It digs deeper, into the subconscious, tapping into fears and desires buried beneath everyday awareness. The forbidden nature of this kind of charisma feels like it's breaking social rules, breaking norms, and that taboo aspect only makes it more magnetic. She's not just drawn to him, she's drawn to what he represents, a freedom from the ordinary, a glimpse into a world where control slips, and anything could happen. And here's the secret. This attraction isn't a malfunction or a flaw. It's pure biology and psychology doing exactly what they evolved to do. It's the survival brain saying, this guy might be dangerous, but maybe he's got what it takes to survive and thrive in a harsh world. That means this pull is powerful, hardwired, and not easily switched off by logic or reason. So when you understand that dark charisma isn't about being cruel or reckless for the sake of it, but about owning a kind of mysterious power that keeps her intrigued, you unlock a different level of influence. You don't have to be a villain. You just need to master the art of withholding, of being a challenge, of keeping her guessing without playing games. Because it's not manipulation if it's authentic, it's primal. It's the fine line between danger and safety, mystery and revelation, that keeps her coming back for more, craving just one more glimpse into your world. And that, right there, is the secret weapon of dark charisma, the forbidden and the mysterious, wrapped into one intoxicating package. And once a woman gets addicted to that sense of mystery and forbidden curiosity, the second layer of dark charisma starts to pull her deeper with a raw, almost magnetic power and confidence that isn't polished or rehearsed. It's rough around the edges, unpredictable, and at times borderline reckless, and that's exactly why it grabs attention and never lets go. Dark charisma is never about being a safe bet or playing by society's playbook. It's about owning a presence so dominant, so unapologetically raw, that it forces the world, and the people around him, to acknowledge his power without question. This kind of confidence isn't about the neat, buttoned-up kind of charm that's been practiced in front of mirrors or learned from self-help books. It's primal. It's the kind of confidence that says, I don't need permission, I don't follow your rules, and I'm unafraid of the fallout. Women sense this power on a subconscious level, because deep down, evolution has wired attraction to respond to signals of high status, dominance, and resourcefulness. In the wild, these traits meant survival. Only the strongest, most capable men got to pass on their genes. And even today, our brains respond to those ancient signals like they're life or death. But here's the twist that most guys miss. It's not the polished, nice guy confidence that lights up these primal circuits. It's the raw, edgy, even dangerous kind of power that breaks the monotony of predictability. Safe, polite, and agreeable might win you a few brownie points, but they rarely fire up the deep subconscious desire that really hooks someone. Women instinctively pick up on the energy of a man who lives outside the lines, who doesn't just play the game but rewrites the rules entirely. This man isn't weighed down by the fear of consequences or social judgment. Instead, he moves through the world with an unshakable belief in himself, and that belief is contagious. It radiates like heat, pulling people in like a flame. It's important to realize that this kind of dark charisma isn't about recklessness for its own sake, or toxic dominance that crushes others. It's about a fearless ownership of power and identity. This is what creates the electric charge between him and the women who sense his untamed spirit beneath the surface. She isn't just attracted to his looks or charm. She's drawn to the signal that he can handle whatever life throws at him, and that signal is loud and clear in his unfiltered confidence. This raw power challenges the safe, predictable partners she's used to seeing, shaking up her subconscious wiring and sparking a craving for something more alive, more intense, more dangerous. It's the difference between watching a calm river and a wildfire. Both have their appeal, but fire burns brighter, commands attention, and leaves a mark. That's the seductive energy of raw confidence, the kind that doesn't have to ask for permission or approval. And here's where dark psychology sneaks in. This kind of confidence triggers a cocktail of chemical responses in her brain, flooding her system with adrenaline and dopamine that create a rush, an addictive high. It makes her feel alive, igniting emotional and physical sensations that polite conversation or safe gestures simply can't touch. This isn't something she's always consciously aware of. It's beneath the surface, pulling strings she can't explain, pushing her toward the man who radiates raw, dangerous power like a beacon in a dull, predictable world. So if you want to master this level of charisma, it's not about pretending to be fearless or cocky. It's about cultivating an authentic, unapologetic presence that owns your power without apology or hesitation. It's about living by your own rules, embracing your edges, and walking into any room knowing you don't need to convince anyone. You simply are the kind of man who commands respect and desire. When you do this, you don't just attract women, you spark an instinctual fire that they can't resist. Because deep down, the human brain knows that raw confidence equals power, and power equals survival and success. That's the real dark charisma, the kind that cuts through the noise and makes you unforgettable, not because you're perfect, but because you're unapologetically real and dominant in a way that resonates with something primal inside us all. And once that raw confidence hooks her instinctively, the third layer of dark charisma strikes with a magnetic pull that dark, charismatic men wield. And it's not just about how they look or talk, it's the intense emotional energy they give off that creates a powerful, almost addictive bond, a rush that women can't help but chase even when it's messy or volatile. This kind of emotional intensity, passion, unpredictability, and sometimes downright volatility, sparks something primal deep in the brain, a cocktail of feelings that mimic the very early stages of romantic attachment, when emotions are raw, wild, and uncontrollable. When she's with a dark, charismatic man, the highs feel like pure ecstasy, the kind of moments that light up her entire nervous system, making her heart pound, her senses sharpen, and her mind obsess over him long after he's gone. But it's not just about those high points. The lows, the tension, the unpredictable dips in mood or attention, those create a kind of emotional roller coaster that's almost impossible to step off from. It's that push-pull dynamic that neuroscientists call intermittent reinforcement, and it's the same mechanism that keeps people hooked on slot machines or social media likes. This emotional unpredictability keeps her dopamine levels cycling, her brain craving the next hit, the next surge of connection, no matter how much logic tells her to walk away. Evolutionarily, this makes sense. Back in the day, staying close to a man who exuded power and intensity, even if he was risky or volatile, meant better chances of survival and better resources. The trade-off was worth it. This wiring is still there, buried deep beneath layers of modern social conditioning, and it explains why women can become addicted to the emotional storms dark charismatic men create. It's not about being cruel or intentionally manipulative, though sometimes that can happen, but about the raw, unfiltered energy that disrupts the usual predictable rhythms of everyday life and injects a sense of danger, excitement, and emotional depth that feels intoxicating. Women who experience this kind of intensity often report feeling more alive, more seen, and more connected in those moments, even if the overall relationship feels unstable or challenging. The dark, charismatic man doesn't just offer comfort or companionship, he offers emotional upheaval that lights up the brain's reward centers like fireworks. And here's the kicker, this isn't just emotional chaos for chaos's sake. It's a signal of authenticity, of someone living fully on their edge, unafraid to feel deeply, take risks, and challenge the status quo. That raw emotional intensity can feel like a breath of fresh air in a world full of surface-level interactions and predictable patterns. It breaks the monotony and wakes up dormant parts of the psyche, pulling her into a dance where she's both terrified and thrilled. This dance creates a bond far stronger than casual affection. It's a neurochemical hookup that rewires her brain to crave more, to chase the highs, and to endure the lows because the overall emotional charge is worth it. It's why women can sometimes stay in relationships that others see as toxic or unstable. The intensity keeps them hooked in ways that quiet, steady love never could. And while this dynamic can be dangerous if unchecked, understanding this powerful emotional mechanism gives you a huge advantage. You don't need to be volatile or reckless to harness this kind of connection. You just need to understand how to bring authentic emotional energy, passion, presence, unpredictability, in a way that keeps her emotionally engaged without pushing her away. It's about balancing the raw with the real, the fire with the foundation, so you create an emotional gravity that pulls her closer instead of pushing her away. Mastering this means you don't just attract attention, you create a powerful, addictive bond that keeps her coming back, because it's more than just comfort or attraction. It's a deep, visceral connection that taps into ancient wiring for survival, passion, and belonging. So if you want to truly understand what makes dark charisma so hypnotic, it's this emotional intensity, the ability to stir deep feelings, create highs and lows that trigger brain chemistry, and form bonds that go beyond words. That's the kind of energy that stays with her long after the moment has passed, the kind of presence that's unforgettable, irresistible, and impossible to replace. So here's the cold, unfiltered truth. Women aren't just looking for a nice guy, they're wired to crave something deeper, darker, and far more compelling. Dark charisma pulls them in because it taps into primal parts of the brain that hunger for the forbidden, the powerful, and the emotionally intense. It's not about being perfect or polite, it's about mastering mystery, owning raw confidence, and sparking a roller coaster of emotions that lights up the brain's reward system like a firestorm. The mysterious aura keeps her curious and addicted to the chase. The raw, unshakable confidence signals power and status without apology. And the emotional intensity forges bonds so strong they're hardwired to the deepest parts of her psyche. This triad is the secret weapon of magnetic men, men who don't just get attention but command it effortlessly, like a force of nature. Now, here's where you come in. If you're serious about stepping out of the crowd of nice guys and tapping into this primal power within you, you need to stick around. Because every week, I'm breaking down the psychology, the mindset hacks, and the practical steps to help you build this dark charisma authentically, without losing yourself or becoming toxic. If you want to own your presence, ignite desire, and live on your own terms, hit that subscribe button right now. Join the tribe of men who refuse to settle for ordinary and are ready to claim the magnetic power that's been buried inside them all along. This channel isn't about surface-level advice, it's about real transformation, deep psychology, and practical mastery. Thanks for watching.